Coming up on Valley View News, 2 people are dead after a fire in a Silmar home. Authorities say ammunition was found on the property. Plus, Walmart is the next brand to say it's not advertising on X anymore. Why officials say they decided to cut ties with the social media platform. And the college football playoff semifinalists are finally here. We have the latest on who's in and who's missing out.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Lauren Hanna.
And I'm Najera.
A man suspected of murdering 4 people, 3 of them homeless, is now in custody.
Members of the Beverly Hills Police Department were able to do a traffic stop and detain the suspect that we're talking about.
The LA County Sheriff's Department and LAPD announced a break in the case and revealed a link between a murder in San Dimas and the killing of 3 men in downtown LA. The man was identified as 33-year-old Jared Joseph Powell. Beverly Hills police recovered a handgun from Powell's vehicle. That weapon was the same one used in the killings of the 3 homeless men. Powell is facing charges of suspicion of murder and robbery.
A Granada Hills resident shot and killed a burglar inside his home over the weekend. Investigators say it happened at a house on Swinton Avenue near Rinaldi Street. The suspect had the victim's property when the homeowner shot him multiple times. The homeowner's grandmother and young child were also inside the home at the time. LAPD officers found the suspect shot inside the home. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators believe another suspect was shot because of a trail of blood left. Police also recovered a black BMW sedan that could lead them to the suspects that got away. LAPD officials say it will be up to District Attorney George Gascon's office to determine if criminal charges will be filed against the homeowner.
2 people and a dog are dead after a fire ripped through a Silmar home over the weekend. The early morning blaze was partially fueled by ammunition. When firefighters arrived on scene, they initially believed someone was firing a weapon. It was eventually determined stockpiled ammunition was firing off due to extreme heat. 2 other back houses behind the 1-story home also caught fire and delayed the firefighters' ability to put out the blaze. 15 assault weapons were recovered at the scene. 2 people who have not been identified have died.
2 firefighters are okay after falling from a 2nd floor. LA Fire Department officials say the crew was battling a fire at a 2-story office building in Echo Park last Friday when the floor beneath them collapsed. The pair rode the section down to the 1st floor but did not sustain any serious injuries. They were taken to the hospital as other crews continued to battle the blaze for about an hour. The same building caught fire again on Monday. No injuries were reported.
Dozens of residents have been displaced after a fire stretching an entire city block in South Los Angeles destroyed homes in a central Alameda neighborhood. Impacted residents tell our Valley View News' Alex Perez that they're now left homeless for the holidays.
A construction site caught fire in South LA. More than 100 LA City firefighters were on the ground last Tuesday morning to try and quickly extinguish the fast-moving flames, but the blaze was strong to contain, spreading to buildings and cars around the fourplex, leaving many homeless for the night.
Mi hijo vive aquí, pero cuando él nos llamó.
My son lives here, but when he called us, the house was burning. We came quick and everything was burning. All the trees were gone.
LA City fire officials say 5 houses were affected by the inferno. 2 victims, both over 60 years old, were sent to the hospital with critical burns, and a 30-year-old was treated on the scene for minor injuries.
Ellos apenas salieron, él se quemó la garganta.
They barely got out. He burned his throat and it was a disaster, a fatal one. Everything went to waste. Some helped rescue and others didn't.
One of the bigger challenges firefighters faced was trying to calm the fire down while voltage lines were also burning at the same time. Arson investigators are now trying to determine the cause of the fire. It is unclear when displaced residents will be able to go back home. All that is left now are ashes and helpless neighbors looking for a new place to sleep. Reporting from Los Angeles, California, I'm Alex Perez for Valley View News.
Thank you, Alex. A dry October and November has led California water officials to increase water supplies to cities and farms. Starting next year, state water agencies serving more than 17 million Californians will get 10% more of the water they requested from state supplies. Although the state's reservoirs are in good shape, officials say California's water year is off to a dry start, and it is best to plan for dry conditions. The state's Department of Water Resources hopes El Nino will generate wet winter weather in the coming months. A lot of the supply in California comes from snow in the mountains during the winter that melts in the spring. The Bear Flag State's allocation this year is still low, but better than the 3-year drought in the recent years.
The historic Bothwell Ranch Orange Grove in Woodland Hills is set to be replaced by homes in a controversial decision that left many unhappy. Valley View News' Lysandra Vera shows us how the San Fernando Valley's last commercial orange grove is set to lose more than 1,000 trees.
I am not going to break the law. We're going to do this right, and we're going to hopefully make a little difference better for our community.
The Bothwell Ranch in Woodland Hills, once thriving through citrus, is now on the crossroad between progress and preservation. Disagreements over the fate of a historic grove in the heart of San Fernando Valley. It has existed for the last 97 years on Oakdale Avenue and Collier Street. Lindley and Annie Bothwell own the grove, home to 1,400 orange trees. Now developers want to build 21 homes in the middle of the citrus plants.
Also to design the project in a way that the neighbors were comfortable. So we'll be maintaining 2 rows of citrus along the front here so that when you drive by, you're still going to be looking at citrus trees.
Since the owners decided to part with it in 2019, the Bothwell Ranch has become a source of conflict.
My thoughts are disappointment, and my feelings are, sadness, and it's depressing.
A resident who has grown up in San Fernando Valley and lived in the location for 8 years say that it's time to move on to a necessary change.
We're evolving and getting better. Growing pains are always hard.
The Bothwell Ranch is seeking a solution that will not only shape the future, but also honor the rich history rooted in the rows of orange trees and gravel paths.
The last piece of agricultural history in the entire valley, arguably.
In Woodland Hills, I'm Lysandra Vera, Valley View News.
Thank you, Lysandra. The orchard has been standing for about 100 years, but it's still unknown when the developer will begin work to remove it. In other news, Cal State Northridge is now housing an exclusive WIC center. Valley View News' Leah Villalpando shares the details on the special supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children and how it hopes to aid students.
Assisting over 38,000 families in the San Fernando Valley and millions nationwide, the Women, Infant, and Children program has found an exclusive home at CSUN, making it the only WIC site on a U.S. college campus.
There are many of our students, staff, faculty that may not know about WIC and what WIC has to offer, and our staff and students that work in the center here should let everyone know that they may be eligible for these great services, and it is a wonderful program.
While the site may appear empty today, a recent grant of over $330,000 is driving an outreach project to highlight the program.
And with the help of that grant, tabling, and signs, just like this one right here, they have grown their participation from 6 to 26. And now they have a current goal of reaching 75 participants and to erase the stigma.
I'm gonna be honest, they have guys coming up to the table like, what is a WIC? I'm like, oh, you really want to know? And that's why I said I bumped into a father. I bumped into a pregnant lady came up, student came up. And I'm like, they're like, wow, I'm so glad. We really need you guys on this campus.
A study reveals that 41.6% of CSUN students still need to meet basic needs, saying that experiencing food insecurity and homelessness had an impact on their mental and physical health. The organizers here are aiming to reach out to more students in need. But grad student and employee Whitney Gibson is passionate about the program's future.
We're hoping that it's going to now roll on to the rest of the Cal States, or just in general, worldwide, nationwide, you name it, anywhere, as long as people start realizing that this is something that can help them, and we're all here to help and support in the best way.
CSUN's exclusive on-campus WIC site could potentially serve as a model for similar projects at college campuses nationwide. Reporting from Northridge, California, I'm Leah Villalpando, Valley View News.
Thank you, Leah. California's Alternative Mental Health Court has received more than 100 petitions since launching in October in 7 different counties. Care Court helps compel treatment for people with severe mental illness, and officials believe nearly 7,000 to 12,000 people statewide will be eligible for the program. The special court will review eligibility before asking the individual to participate in a voluntary plan that includes housing, medication, counseling, and other services. Lawmakers are hoping that the program will help people with severe mental illnesses, many who are homeless, get the aid they need and off the streets.
Governor Gavin Newsom and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis clashed on stage in an unusual debate last Thursday billed as the Great Red and Blue State Debate on Fox News. It comes as DeSantis runs his presidential campaign while Newsom looks for a potential future as a White House candidate. The broadcast lasted for 90 minutes as the two tossed overlapping arguments, lying accusations, and insults toward each other. One notable comment from DeSantis calls Newsom a failure as a governor.
You almost have to try to mess California up. Yeah, that's what Gavin Newsom has done since he's been governor.
LGBTQ education, abortion access, public safety, the U.S. economy, and immigration are a few of the topics discussed in the debate. Despite their heated differences, Newsom says he believes neither of them will make it to the 2024 presidential election.
But there's one thing, in closing, that we have in common is neither of us will be the nominee for our party in 2024.
Sean Hannity moderated the debate and asked the two to be civil rather than talk over one another.
Vice President Kamala Harris has urged Israel to do more to protect Palestinians during its war with Hamas.
As Israel pursues its military objectives in Gaza, we believe Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians.
In a news conference over the weekend, the vice president said that Israel has a legitimate right to conduct operations against Hamas militants, but it matters how, being that international humanitarian law must be respected. More than 15,000 people have been killed so far in Gaza. Harris added that the U.S. will not permit the forced relocation of Palestinians from Gaza or the West Bank. U.S. officials have discussed strengthening the PA, but no plan has been agreed on.
More to come on Valley View News. Russia's president says the country's military is set to increase by 15%. And Beyoncé's latest concert film is officially out in theaters. What this means for the box office.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. Let's travel to news overseas. Our Alex Perez is in our digital media center with the latest international updates, including a terrifying attack on one of France's main tourist attractions. Alex?
Thank you, Lauren. We'll start with this. A suspect is in custody after killing a person and injuring two others last Saturday night. Authorities say the man attacked the victims with a knife and a hammer near the Eiffel Tower in Paris. The suspect has previously been arrested for assault. France's anti-terrorism team is now investigating a possible terrorist attack after the assaulter yelled an Arabic phrase during the time of the attack. 4 people are dead following a bombing in the Philippines. Last Sunday night's explosion happened at the Mindanao State University Gymnasium where a mass was being held. Dozens were injured and treated for minor injuries. Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said the attack came from foreign terrorists, but did not name any group in particular. Russia is now increasing its military once again. President Vladimir Putin called for the country to add 170,000 troops as the country nears a third year of war, making it the second time Putin has called for more military staffing during the war. The move now brings Russia's military to over 2 million troops. It has already added nearly 500,000 personnel this year alone. Experts believe Ukraine might also add more troops as the two sides get deeper into the war. Just a few weeks after putting a satellite in space, North Korea is warning the United States any interference with its space assets will be deemed as a war declaration. The North Korea satellite is not intended to be used as a weapon, but it is believed it will be used for spying. South Korea and Japan are calling the North Korean launch a violation of the UN Security Council. Neither countries, which are all experiencing increasing military tensions with North Korea, could confirm the satellite has made it into orbit. And a bird flu has left hundreds of birds dead in Argentina. Avian influenza, also known as bird flu, has reached many countries and could mutate into other strains of the virus. It spreads through other water birds like ducks and is believed to be very deadly. As birds begin to migrate, researchers fear that the flu will continue to worsen. In 2 years, only 11 cases of bird flu have been found in humans. But it can increase if people come into contact with these birds. That's the very latest from the Digital Media Center. I'm Alex Perez, back to you.
Alex, thank you. The deadly bird flu is also posing a major threat to turkey flocks, so if you are thinking of buying some slices from the deli, be aware of higher prices. A highly pathogenic avian flu, or HPAI, burdened many poultry farms in the U.S. since February 2022, leading to 60 million killed birds by last December. The disease is generating concern among poultry farmers as it threatens smaller supply and higher costs for grocery stores next spring. The flu is spreading as many birds migrate south this season, leading many to interact with other flocks in some farms.
Walmart is the latest company to halt advertising with X, formerly known as Twitter. A spokesperson for the retail corporation says the decision has nothing to do with advertising policies, as spending ads on the platform has decreased over time. Walmart's departure comes after many brands also paused advertising with X after CEO Elon Musk shared support of an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. The site's head of operations says the company continues to be active and connect with X users in other ways. He also says Musk's post was not a direct cause of the companies pulling their ads.
Without saying any words, art is a way to express yourself, not by what you see, but by what you feel. Valley View News' Daniel Herrera introduces us to a Santa Clarita artist's point of view.
Creativity is engraved in the mind of one Santa Clarita artist. It started when Therese Werner was in her late 20s working on stained glass windows. About 30 years later, she picked up a paintbrush.
I really wanted to do something creative again, but since my eyesight was getting bad, I couldn't do the exacting work of stained glass. So I asked my sister, who's a graphic designer, what media to work in, and I tried oils, and now I use acrylics. So the main thing is just to be able to express myself.
That's right, Werner is legally blind. She lost her vision in her right eye with blurriness in the left, and it's only getting worse. Despite facing adversity, Werner visioned a future, one that would allow her to continue painting and turn the world into her canvas.
What I've been doing to make it easier for myself is creating large paintings with large brush strokes and some abstracts, which are easier to do.
Which is why her work is displayed in locations from as far away as the San Luis Obispo Museum of Art to the Power Center for the Performing Arts in Michigan.
One of my goals is to share my art with as many people as possible, and I have done that over the past few years.
Throughout Werner's long journey of skill,
the Statue of Liberty,
and technique, one of her favorite paintings
is called The Reading Tree, and I created it for an art call that was for the Valencia Children's Library.
In Santa Clarita, I'm Daniel Herrera, Valley View News.
Thank you, Daniel. Pre-cut cantaloupes are being recalled. Some of the cantaloupe products that are sold in major supermarket chains have been pulled after a warning came from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. Salmonella and other bacteria could be found in some of these unknown cantaloupe brands and are urged to be reported. Over 60 people have been hospitalized following illness that comes from the fruit and other pre-cut fruits. The CDC warns everyone as the symptoms that follow this illness could be extreme.
When we come back, the Pac-12 has officially come to an end after the final game. Also, an actor has received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. We'll tell you who it is next. Stay with us.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own, a place that I call home, this place that I call home.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Welcome back. In sports news, the college football playoffs are moving forward with the top 4 teams, and it was not an easy decision for the committee. After number 1, Georgia lost to number 8, Alabama. Football fans were eager to see who took the new number 3 and 4 spots. Last Sunday, the top 4 rankings were announced on ESPN, with Michigan at 1, then Washington, followed by Texas at 3rd, and Alabama taking the last spot. It ultimately knocked off Georgia and Florida State despite their undefeated season and an ACC championship win with their third-string quarterback. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said on X that even with FSU's wins, the College Football Playoff Committee will ignore the results. It is the first time an undefeated Power 5 conference team will miss the playoffs. The semifinals are scheduled to be played on New Year's Day in Louisiana and here in Southern California.
The Pac-12 conference has officially come to an end after the Washington Huskies beat the Oregon Ducks in the championship this last weekend in Vegas. The Huskies took down the Ducks 34-31 with quarterback and Heisman candidate Michael Penix Jr. throwing 319 yards and 1 touchdown. However, the game was a little bittersweet as it marks an end to the Pac-12 after more than 100 years. 10 of the 12 teams are set to join different conferences next year, including Oregon, Washington, and USC. Video shows all 12 mascots together to take a family photo for one last time. Oregon State and Washington State are the only 2 left, as it's still unknown if they will leave or if other schools will join them.
The Golden State Warriors came to town last Saturday to take on the Los Angeles Clippers, and things quickly went south for LA as they fell behind by 22 points at the beginning of the third quarter. The Clippers slowly began to mesh together after a rough half and held the Warriors to a 20-point fourth quarter, and 3 Clippers went on to score over 20 points. Paul George had a game-high 25 points and hit a late 3 to bring Los Angeles back from down 22. The game winner from the 8-time All-Star gave the Clippers a 113-112 win in a scrappy, much-needed game.
Just 8 months after receiving his first loss, professional boxer Ryan Garcia made his return in the ring against Oscar Duarte, who had not lost since 2019. Garcia ended the first fight in the 8th round with a flurry of punches, starting with his signature check left hook. Duarte was forced to take a knee and was unable to beat the 10 count. Now that Garcia is back to winning ways, he called out his former rival, Rolando Romero, and listed a few other superstars he could face.
Actor Michael B. Jordan allegedly crashed his Ferrari into a car parked in Hollywood. It happened this past weekend. Authorities say the actor's car was going westbound on the Sunset Strip when the crash occurred. It does not appear Jordan was under the influence, and the Creed actor's representatives say he is doing well after the crash. Officials say there have been no other reported injuries.
Beyoncé not only runs the world, but now box office. Beyoncé's latest film, Renaissance, is topping the box office. Queen Bee wrote, directed, and produced concert film that was released this past weekend. The film has grossed $21 million, ranking it as one of the best concert film debuts for ticket sales. According to AMC Theaters distributors, it is the first time in 20 years since a film opened with more than $20 million following a Thanksgiving weekend. Usually, that period is slow for movies and ticket sales, but Beyoncé fans proved otherwise.
'Tis the season. If you love the Home Alone films, you can potentially live out the Christmas movie. New York City's iconic Plaza Hotel now offers the Home Alone 2 Fun in New York package. Guests can now recreate their version of the Christmas film by driving by some of the film locations in a 4-hour limousine ride, and can eat all of the foods featured in the film. But wait, if you can't make the trip in time for the holidays, the special package will be available year-round. More details are found on the Plaza Hotel website. I personally love Home Alone, so I definitely want to do this movie experience.
As a kid, I always wanted to eat the ice cream that he ordered in the hotel, so hopefully they have that.
I'd go for the pizza.
Speaking of the films, their very own Kevin McAllister, or rather Macaulay Culkin, has presented a huge honor. Valley View News' Ali Najera shares the actor's special day.
Fans from all over Los Angeles and beyond came out for Macaulay Culkin's Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony, though some found it hard to appreciate from all the way across the street. Traditionally, this Hollywood event means a street closure. This time around, that was not the case.
Should have. Because we couldn't get decent pictures or some buses and that. And we didn't like that part.
Visitors from Canada and longtime fans Tracy Price and her mother say they flew all the way to California just to watch Culkin receive his star. She says his most beloved film was reason enough to make the trip.
I watch Home Alone all the time. Not all the time, but enough to love it. I'm excited, so I'm almost nervous, like shaking, so.
At the end of the ceremony, fans were provided these variety magazines. But not before sharing that special moment Culkin was finally a part of the Walk of Fame. Diane Johansson says this was her first Hollywood star ceremony, making this one a memorable experience.
I mean, what a monumental career he's had. It's so amazing to have started as a child actor and continue to make things in film and TV, and just be a good citizen of California too. I mean, beyond entertainment, I just really respect him.
Fans might have known Culkin from a number of films.
Uncle Buck, one of my favorites, and Home Alone, of course. Saved, My Girl.
So now his career will be forever honored on Hollywood Boulevard near Ivor Avenue with this iconic star.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
We still don't know where Home Alone's Kevin McAllister is, but we do know where Macaulay Culkin's Walk of Fame star now lives. In Hollywood, I'm Ali Najera, Valley View News. If you want to see it for yourself, the star is across from Rock of Ages music venue in Hollywood. Now, here's a cute story. A 100-pound Great Dane known as Mudge accidentally tumbled into a North Carolina well, sending the dog owners into a panic before calling 911. Specialized rescue equipment from the local fire departments was used to rescue the pooch. Here's when it gets cute. Mudge was successfully lifted out after crews used a rope, and hours of work led the family to reunite with their family dog. The owners say the canine is safe and okay with just a scrape on her ankle. I have 2 dogs of my own, so I'd be so scared if that was me.
I'm glad to know that Mudge was okay.
Yeah, definitely a great story.
That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Lauren Hanna.
And I'm Ali Najera. For stories any time of day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN. Thanks for watching.